अस्सलाम वालेकुम class and welcome back to your course experimental foods. आज हमारा topic है fish cookery and we were going to be understanding and we're going to be learning about fish cookery in detail, and we're going to learn about the nutrients present in fish and everything in detail as well. But before I start off with the topic, I hope that you were rested and you're all geared up over the weekend for your after mids course. And also remember that in this particular time period, you will also be doing your preparing your presentations and reports. So also I'm going to be discussing with you with the final project as well. So I hope that you people are feeling well and you're good. And without wasting much time, let's begin. So the learning objective of today's topic, which is fish cookery, will be that you'll be able to draw and label the parts of the fish. You're also going to be able to categorize the types of fish, meaning there are different types of fish available in the market and what kind of fish is for what. We're going to be identifying that. You're also going to understand the nutritional value of the fish. What are the nutrients that are present in the fish that make it a major or a good part of the diet? And you're also going to be able to explain the different methods used in the fish cookery. So these are the things that you're going to be learning from the today's topic. Now, starting off, you have to remember that fish can be from either freshwater or from seawater. Its size, shape, and texture changes with the origin of the fish. So, whether a fish is from a freshwater or they're from seawater, because of that, the size, shape, and the texture of the fish will also be different. For example, if a fish is from the seawater, its shape and size will not be same as the one that is from the freshwater. So, we have to keep that thing in mind. Fish comes in many sizes from small to very large. Shark and whales are also eaten and considered a delicacy. So obviously we have different sizes or different types of fish available. Allah Ta'ala ने हमारी दुनिया और कायनात ऐसे बनाई है कि there are different varieties of fish. We might not even know that they exist, but for the ones that we know, we know that there are in different varieties, and especially in very large fishes like sharks and whales, they are also eaten by humans. However, they are considered as delicacy, and due to religious factors they might be halal, they might not be halal. So a lot of people, they actually take sharks and whales as delicacy and they eat it in form of delicacy. That means that it is going to be expensive and they're going to enjoy it, or not on the everyday basis, but they're going to enjoy it on special occasions. Then fish eggs or raw are too edible and are also very expensive food. Caviar, which is also known as fish eggs, they are also very expensive and they're very popular among the people and are also eaten on daily basis. Fish went hand down when compared to other meats, be it chicken, mutton, beef, veal, or etc. So what happens is that the fish is a complete meal. It is nutrient dense. So that is why when it comes to the other meats, for example, chicken, mutton, beef, whale, fish will hands down win because of its nutrient content. It is high in vitamins and the meat is low in fat and cholesterol. So the best part about it is it's boosting or it's overloaded with vitamins, and then on along with that it is very low in fat and cholesterol. I mean, white meat, for example, chicken is also lean meat. However, there are certain parts of the chicken that are high in fat. However, aggressive cooking, but it needs to be cooked delicately, meaning either it is steamed or poached or fried, and because you want to make sure that the fish retains its original shape when you're serving it. Now on your screens just now you can see a picture of a fish, and this is the labeling of the fish that you need to understand. You will be able to, you have to remember that in your final exams you might be asked to draw the picture, or you might be asked to fill in the blanks or label the picture of the fish. So you need to be able to understand what it is. So well, let's start from left to right when we go from top to bottom. You can see through the mouth there's teeth presence, then the nars are present from where the nerves are present in the eyes. Then the lateral lines are the scales on the bodies, the spiny and soft rays are the dorsal fins. Caudal pendulum is this a bit cartilage part which actually makes it use its tail. Caudal fin is the end part of the fish which is used to actually make it move forward. Anal skin, vent, pectoral fin, pelvic fin, these are all the types of fin that are actually helping the fish to move forward in the water. Gills is the part from where the fish breathes, and operculum is the part above the gills, and then again we know that it is the mouth. So generally you need to understand what are different parts, you need to remember and understand the parts of the fish, because in your exams you might be asked to draw and label the diagram of a fish as well. Now, when it comes to selection of the fish, because we're talking about fish cookery, it is very important we realize how a fish is selected because of its variety and the different kinds, whether it's fresh or not, how you'll be able to identify which fish is best and safe to consume. It is very important we study what are the different ways you can identify how much of a fish is safe to consume. For example, the chef should select fish of the best quality. Definitely, the best quality fish will lead to you producing a food that is of a higher quality and is also safe for consumption. It should be rapidly transported from the source to the customer. For example, the freshest fish needs to be taken out of the water and it needs to go directly to the customer in the minimum possible time, because जैसे ही आप fish को पकड़ते हैं और उसके बाद अगर आप उसको store कर लेंगे तो definitely it's going to affect its freshness. But the fresh fish is basically where you catch it and then you take it directly to the customer, meaning you directly sell it out, and then the customer goes back home and cooks it, so the freshness of the meat will be there. It should smell fresh, it should smell and look fresh. Obviously fishy smell is a bit fishy, however the fresh fish would smell a lot less fishier and it is going to look fresh. For example, अगर आप fresh fish को पकड़ेंगे तो जो fresh fish होती है जब आप उसको पकड़ते हैं it is going to smell fishy, but it's not going to smell bad fishy. Over a period of time, if you keep that fish out in the open, it is going to start stinking. So the stink is not there, the smell is there, but it's not stinking. So you need to make sure that the smell and the look of the fish, meaning it's shiny and it's looking fresh like it's been freshly caught. The following should be kept in mind while selecting fish. Now, there are a lot of things that you can keep in mind and you can identify whether a fish is fresh or not and what are they. We're going to study them. When we talk about smell, it needs to be fresh, clean, with a typical aroma. So the typical aroma of the fish is very fishy. However, it's not stinky. So you have to make sure that when you're smelling the fish, it is a very fresh, clean, and it's also having the typical aroma and not stinking. Then, if you look at the skin of the fish, it should feel slick and moist. Scales, if any, should be firmly attached. So it needs to be shiny, it needs to be slick and moist, and the scales need to be firmly attached to the body of the fish. If you see that the scales are removed, या अगर वो खराब हुए हैं या slick or moist नहीं है fish, that is the biggest identification that the fish is not fresh. When we look at the fins and tails, they need to be moist and fresh, flexible. When you touch it, it needs to feel moist and it needs to feel flexible. The flesh also should be firm and elastic. It should not be saggy or it should not be bad or it should not be sticky. It should be firm and elastic. This is the big indication that the fish is going to be fresh. When you look at the eyes of the fish, they need to be clear. Don't need to be bloody or they don't need to be dull. The clearer or the shinier the eyes of the fish are, it is going to show that it is very fresh. When we talk about gills, blood red to maroon color, moist and fresh looking. So when you look at the gills, the blood needs to be either of the red or maroon color, and it needs to look moist and fresh looking, because the older the blood gets, obviously it's going to rot, and then the gills will not look moist and fresh looking. So you will be able to identify that the fish is not safe or it's not fresh. Then the other point is check live shellfish for signs of movement, as in lobsters and the crabs. Lobsters and crabs are those shellfish that need to be alive before you cook them. So if they are dead, then most probably they will be poisoned, because when they die, they produce enzymes that become poisonous when they are humanly consumed. So you need to make sure that when you're buying shellfish, you're buying them live, and then when you cook them, obviously they're going to be killed in the process. Clams, mussels, and oysters should be tightly closed. These are the types of shellfish, and they are basically in a shell. So the shell needs to be tightly closed. If you see that there's a gap in between, that definitely shows that either these shellfish are dead or they are not fresh. Fish should be carefully stored, preferably it should be used as fresh as possible. So once you do catch the fish, you need to make sure it is carefully stored at a constant temperature so that when it reaches the customer, it is as fresh as it can be. Now, when we talk about the categories of the fish, it is important to realize what kind of fishes are there. The first kind is a round fish, which includes trout, bass, and salmon. They have a backbone along the upper edge with two fillets on either side. So what happens is that when you talk about the round fish, they're round in shape. That means there is a backbone, and there are two fillets that you get from one fish. So from one fish, you are going to get two fillets. As far as the flatfish is concerned, that is flounders, diversole, backbone runs through the center of the fish with four fillets, two upper and two lower. So what happens is that with the round fish, the backbone is on the upper edge, so you get two fillets that are on the same side. And for the flatfish, the bone is in the middle, so you get two upper fillets and two lower fillets, meaning you get four fillets in total. Then there are non-bony fishes, such as skate, sharks, and monkfish. They have cartilages in their body. They don't have bone, therefore they are considered as delicacy as well. And people who do not like bony fishes, they go for skate and monkfish. Now, these are some of the examples in the pictures form that are there. For example, mackerel अगर देख लें, pomfret देख लें, ये round fishes हैं. इनके ऊपर एक side पे जो है upper side पे आपकी bone होगी और फिर नीचे इनकी दो जो होते हैं fillets होते हैं. At the same time, अगर आप flat fish की बात करें तो वो इतनी flat होती है कि वो middle में उनकी bone होती है. And then on the upper side you get two fillets and on the lower side you get two fillets as well. Now, when we talk about bony versus cartilage fish, the bony and cartilaginous fish differ not only in their gills and endoskeletal structure, but also in the response to meeting the challenges of the aquatic existence. So they are very aggressive fishes because obviously their body are cartilages, उनकी body bones नहीं होती, और उनकी जो होती है body तो different होती है, but their nature in the sea is also in the aquatic existence is very difficult because they have to meet the challenges, and that is very commonly जिस आपको shark की nature का पता है, it's very aggressive and highly deadly, so you know exactly how it survives in the common condition. Then shellfish is also comes under this category, and it is broken down then again into different types. For example, the univalves. Abalone is an example of univalves. Univalves का मतलब ये होता है कि एक side पे shell होता है, and then उसके ऊपर जो shellfish होती है that is open. Then it's a bivalve, meaning clams, mussel, oysters, scallops. They are actually enclosed in the shell. So आप जब shell open करोगे तो उनके अंदर ये shellfish पाई जाती है. फिर crustaceans होते हैं जैसे lobster, shrimps, and crayfish होती है, and cephalopods, squid, and octopus. And the name translates as head-footed. Tentacles and arms are attached directly to the head. So crustaceans में आपके lobster, shrimps और cranefish आ जाएंगे, जबकि cephalopods जो होते हैं इनमें squid और octopus आते हैं, meaning that the tentacles are added directly to the head. Now, the figure on the left that you just see is an example of a univalve, which is abalone. Abalone या abalone जो कहते हैं वो इस तरह से होती है कि नीचे shell होता है, ऊपर shellfish होती है, and it's alive, and then it's cooked and it gets obviously cooked होगा तो it's going to die. On the right side, you can see that the clams and the mussels, they are basically in a shell, जिनको हम उर्दू में सीपियां कहते हैं, तो वो सीपियों की शेप में होते हैं, और जब हम उनको ओपन करते हैं तो फिर हमें स्कैलप्स भी मिलते हैं, हमें मसल्स मिलते हैं, और ये इस तरह से इनको बाइवैल्व्स कहा जाता है. Now this is the example of crustaceans, meaning जिनमें crabs आते हैं. The black figure on your left side is a lobster. Then it's a big lobster. Then the orange one right next to it is a lobster as well. The crab आ जाते हैं. Crawfish is the purple maroon on the right side. Second on the right side. Then we have the prawns and the shrimps. So they are basically all categorized in the category of crustaceans. Now we move on to the caviar and the roes. Eggs of fish sturgeon, which are salted and matured, are known as caviar. So the eggs, the fish eggs, especially from the fish sturgeon, they are salted and mature, and they are known as caviar. The Caspian Sea provides 98% of world total supply. So caviar is a big delicacy that is eaten all around the world, and it is considered to be a delicacy. So what happens is Caspian Sea से 98% जो आपके caviar है, just from the fish sturgeon that is taken, and it is provided adds up to 98% of the world's supply. Russia is the main supplier. However, now Iran also produces about 10% of the available caviar. So caviar, the main supplier has been Russia, but now Iran has also come into the competition, and it also provides the 10% of the caviar that is actually provided to the world. The eggs are removed, washed, and treated with brine, drained and packed. So these eggs are actually taken out from the sturgeon fish and they're matured and they are treated with brine. Brine water is basically salt water. So they are treated with brine, they drain and then packed. And this is one of the delicacy of the world. And these fish eggs, which are known as caviar, are the most expensive delicacy. Now, the types of fishes that produce, or the types of sturgeons that are available that produce caviar, we're going to learn about their categories. The first one is beluga. It's the largest grain caviar and the most expensive. It comes from the largest Caspian sturgeons, which reach a length of 12 feet. The eggs are dark gray, firm, and well separated and are quite fragile. So, the most expensive and popular type of sturgeon from where you get the caviar is beluga, and it is very expensive. The caviar that is taken from beluga is very expensive because number one, it is the largest sturgeon that is present in the Caspian Sea. It can reach up to cheapest that you'll get is basically from the Savruga, which is the smallest sturgeon. And the caviar that you get is going to be either light to dark green color, and it's not going to be as oily as etc. Then the another kind is the pressed caviar, which is the ripest eggs are compressed. It is more strong, salty, and oily. So the pressed caviar that you get are the ripest of the eggs. The in taste, it is going to be oily, it is going to be salty, and it's going to be very strong flavor. So how you can store caviar? Caviar should be kept between -2 to +4 degrees Celsius. So you can see this is the temperature in which the storage of the caviar is safe. The right portion is 2 oz per person. So the right portion that you can actually eat, or the portion size is 2 oz or 2 ounces. It is accompanied by sour cream, villainous, egg white and yolk that is sieved, small dices of lemon, and chopped parsley. So these are the condiments that go with the caviar to enhance its taste and its palatability. I am going to be posting a video on your Google Classroom, and over there you'll see the whole process of how sturgeon fish are actually, the caviar is extracted from them and how it is actually served. So it is going to be quite interesting. Please look forward to that. Now, this is the figure that you see on your left side is the sturgeon, the figure of the sturgeon. This is the fish that actually produces caviar that is supplied to the world. And on your right side is the different types of fish eggs that you can see. They're golden in nature, some are black, some are gray, some are very dark gray in color. So these are the types of caviar that is actually available in the world today for human consumption. Now we come to the nutrients present in fish. It is very important that before you start off with the fish cookery, you need to know why fish is very important, or why is it, what are the nutrients that are present in fish, so that you realize how you're going to cook it in order to keep the fish from nutrient losses. So fish are considered as nutritionally valuable part of human diet, and consumption 2 times a week is recommended, mostly due to content of long chain polyunsaturated N3 fatty acids. So fish are very rich in fatty acids, and it is recommended that we take fishes 2 times a week, meaning one needs to be an oily fish, one needs to be not so oily fish. These are the kinds of fish that we eat because they are rich in polyunsaturated omegas. So these omegas are very important, and these fatty acids are very important for human health. So that is why we need to actually consume it twice a week. These fatty acids are essential in human nutrition and have proven to be involved in any metabolic functions. So these fatty acids that are present in the fish, they take part in the metabolic functions. They're also providing nourishment to the heart, to the brain, to the normal organs of the body. Therefore, they needs to be taken in. Amongst others, they have anti-inflammatory effects, decrease platelet aggression, and are essential parts in the cell membrane, cardiovascular system, brain, and nervous tissue. So, like I told you just earlier on, that they also have anti-inflammatory properties. So, they're going to be playing an essential role in the cell membranes. They're also going to be playing an essential role in the cardiovascular system, in the nervous system, and obviously in the nervous tissue. Fish, apart from that, is also rich source of certain vitamins and minerals as vitamin D, selenium, phosphorus, and calcium. So you get calcium, phosphorus, selenium, and vitamin D from the fish as well. So it is rich in vitamins as well. Fish is a good source of protein, which is essential for body's growth and repair. So it has good quantity of protein in it. White fish contains little or no fat. So like I said that there's certain times there are oily fishes and then there are white fish. So white fish does not have any or no fat at all. Oil-rich fish contain fat, which is evenly distributed throughout the fish. So the oil-rich or the oily fish are basically have fat, which is already distributed evenly throughout the flesh. So when you eat it, it is going to not be harmful for your body, but it is going to provide you with the essential omega fatty acids, which is going to help you in your health as well as in body activities. Research indicates that omega-3 fatty acids in oil-rich fish can help lower the risk of heart disease and may be beneficial in treating rheumatoid arthritis and cirrhosis. So a lot of researches have been done on the nutrients present in the fish and how it can lead to helping in medical conditions. So it has seen that the omega-3 fatty acids present in the fish, they have been seen to that they lower the risk of heart disease. For example, if somebody is suffering from blood pressure, if you give them the fish, they decrease the risk of heart disease. It is also very beneficial to for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, basically because of the vitamin D, calcium, and vitamin boost in it. And plus, it also helps to deal with cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is a kind of a skin condition where there's a lot of dryness on the skin. It leads to it's the worst stage of eczema, that your skin starts to peel off. It's very dry, it's very irritable. So this particular that the intake of fish is also seen that the omega-3 fatty acids within the fish are seen to be beneficial for treatment of cirrhosis as well. Fish does not contain carbohydrates, so for a balanced meal, fish should be served with carbohydrate-rich food like pasta, rice, potatoes, and breads. Fish does not contain any carbohydrates, so as a side dish with it, it is served with pasta, rice, potatoes, or carbohydrate-rich foods. It is also a good source of iron as well as phosphorus, iodine, fluorine, and zinc. These are the minerals that are also present in the fish, and canned fish is known to be an excellent source of calcium. So somebody does not is lactose intolerant, meaning they do not consume dairy or dairy products. Canned fish is a very good source of calcium from where they can get the calcium, because we all know that calcium is very important for your bone health. So calcium needs to be taken in. So if somebody is lactose intolerant or does not drink milk on daily basis but is fond of fish, canned fish like tuna or mackerel can be taken because they're obviously good source of calcium. Fish contain many of the B vitamin essential for conversion of food to energy. So it also contains B vitamins. We have to remember that B vitamins do not provide us energy, but they work as coenzyme to convert food to the energy. So it contains the essential B vitamins that are needed for the conversion of food to energy. And also they play an important role in the healthy nerve tissue. Oil-rich fish are a good source of fat-soluble vitamin A and D. So oily fishes are also a good source of vitamin A and D, and we all know that vitamin A is very important for our eyesight, and vitamin D again, it helps with the absorption of calcium, so it is playing an integral role in the bone health of the body. So consuming oily fish once a week, and for example, like I just told you earlier on, that we need to take two servings of fish every वीक, मतलब कि एक वीक में हमें 2 दफा फिश को कंज्यूम करना चाहिए, जिसमें से एक फिश आपकी ऑयली होनी चाहिए, एक नॉन ऑयली फिश होनी चाहिए. सो एक जो आप ऑयली फिश पर वीक लेंगे तो उससे आपको नेचुरल सोर्स ऑफ फैट सॉल्युबल विटामिन्स लाइक विटामिन ए, विटामिन डी मिलेंगे, जो कि आपके ओवरऑल नर्व, कॉग्निटिव और आपकी बोन हेल्थ में भी हेल्प आउट करेंगे. Now, this was all about the fish cookery. Just now, we are going to be starting about the parts of the fish, and we are going to be studying about the different cookeries of the fish. कि fish को किस तरह से cook किया जाता है for the next lecture. However, at this point, I would like to take you back to one of the slides, which is basically caviar. You might not be very familiar with caviar, but like I said, I am going to be posting videos online on your Google Classroom. There you will be able to see exactly how sturgeons are harvested. There's a total in the world in the Caspian Sea. What happens is कि वहाँ पे sturgeon farming की जाती है, sturgeons को रखा जाता है, उनको grow किया जाता है, and then the caviar is taken from them and just sold. Now, a little bit of caviar would be thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars. For example, I am going to put a video which shows that अगर आप थोड़ा सा भी छोटी सी भी caviar का box लें तो it will be about 1,000 pounds or it will be leading to 2,000 pounds. So this is not something that you eat on its own. This is like appetizers के ऊपर थोड़े से caviar eggs बने. Yeah, if you would have seen a lot of Hollywood movies, what happens is they say with the champagne they go caviar वगैरह. So it is one of those things that is served, or is it's like a very posh food. It is a very kind of a food that is easily available and easily not easily available, but it is one of the delicacies that people are ready to pay a lot of amount for. So this is how caviar and they are harvested. And plus, because of the popularity that it has, because it is actually not cooked, it is taken in raw form. So treatment of it with brine water is very essential. And the right after removing the eggs, it needs to be washed properly. It needs to be treated with brine, and definitely it's going to be drained and packed. Because of that, ये है कि caviar जो है उसका एक बहुत strong taste होता है, उसका एक बहुत oily taste होता है, जिसकी वजह से जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. So, guys, this was for the lecture today. This is what we will be starting today. Now, it is very important that I also continue with what will be your report or what will be your final project. As you all people know that I had already said that आप लोग एक logbook को prepare करेंगे और उस logbook को करेंगे. I'm trying to convert it into a digital logbook so that you will be able to conduct and do it online. However, you have to remember that all of you are will be going for the presentation as well. All that we have studied so far before the midterm exams and what we're going to be studying after the midterm exams, you're going to be presenting it to me in presentation form. I am going to be making groups of your class, and in those particular groups, every group will be given a different topic, and every person will be given a part of the topic that they have to cover. So it is going to be very simple, and I am going to conduct those presentations on Google Meet. So you have to keep in mind that you have to stay updated with the course, and whatever topics that I keep teaching, you have to make sure that you keep revising it in along with the lectures. Meaning कि आज अगर जब ये lecture मैं post करूँगी, you just have to make sure that you go through the lecture properly. And if you have any questions, you ask me on the Google Meet, Google Classroom, or you ask me on our WhatsApp group that we have for this particular course. Because if you do not ask me questions, obviously you're going to present it to me in the interactive session that we'll have on Friday. So you will be going to answerable to me. So you have to be very sure कि आप लोग जो है updated रहो और सारा कुछ. It sounds easy, but definitely we're going to be studying about different types of cookery methods, and they might be sounding same or easy, but when you have to write it down or when you have to differentiate it, उसमें थोड़ा सा problem आ जाती है. So this is what you have to keep in mind. Secondly, fish के आपने category में ये भी याद रखना है कि जो fish की आपने जो labeling है उसको आपने correctly करना है. For example, if we talk about this figure of the fish, obviously आप लोग इसको draw तो online नहीं कर सकेंगे, but you need to understand what are the different parts of fish, what each part of the fish is doing, what each member is part of the fish, what its function is in the fish body. So this is the diagram in front of you. So what I do expect from you is that in the activity that we'll be doing in the interactive session, I want you people to search about what each part of that is labeled just now on your screen. What is this doing? What is the function in the fish body? So जब आप इसको करेंगे और इसको आप करेंगे तो वो ये हम activity conduct करेंगे. So this activity will be conducted in the class that we'll have in this week in the interactive session. So you need to be prepared. You need to go through the total function of the fish, and you need to go through the labeling of the fish and what each part of the fish is doing in human body. That is very important that you people need to understand, and you're going to tell it to me in via presentation in the Google Meet that we're going to conduct. So be prepared. And apart from that, I hope that you people are doing your assignment and are on it, and do not have any other problem with it. अगर कोई problem हुई, so please feel free to ask me in the Google Classroom or on the WhatsApp group, and I will be more than happy to answer you. I hope today's lecture was interesting. I hope that you people enjoyed it. It might sound childish, but you have to understand that how a fish is stored, how it is prepared is very important, because we as health professionals do not only need to tell that fish is good for your health, we need to also tell the population what is the best way to present or eat the fish as well, even though we might not do the cooking ourselves. But until unless you do not know what method is used and how a maximum nutrient is retained in this particular food, because like milk and egg, fish is also a very good source of nutrients and it's a nutrient dense food. So we need to make sure that we tell the our patients or the local population about how to preserve maximum nutrients in that food and not lose it during the cooking process. So it is very interesting. And inshallah, in the coming lectures, you see that it is interesting to see how different things can be done and how different ways of cooking can actually make sure that the nutrient losses are eliminated. So this is what we're going to be doing. So for today's lecture, that is about it. Please go through the lecture carefully. Like I said before, please go through it carefully. And if you have any problem, you can ask me. I will be posting some YouTube videos and I will be posting some PDFs that will be able to make you understand the different types of fish and especially different types of shellfish, because most of you people might not be familiar with them. So I am going to share those videos. Please go through this one video that I will be posting about the caviar very well, because obviously it is there, and the videos that I'm going to post on your Google Classroom, please make sure you go through them all. Why? Because in your quizzes and in your exams, I am going to ask questions that might be present in the videos. So please do not keep this thing in your mind. Do not neglect any PDF or any topic or anything that I post on your Google Classroom. You have to go through it all, because what I'm posting is for your knowledge, for your learning. So you need to make sure that you get maximum out of it. So this is it for today's lecture. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. Inshallah, until next class, take care of yourself, practice social distancing, and I'll see you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.